gully in it, and you slide it on here, and that arm will rest in it as well. Then they have belts that you can attach onto a chair. Some have alarms, some are censored, and it's mostly for their safety, because what ends up happening if they're in the chair all day is they start sitting slouchy, or they may, you know, be like this in the chair and slide out. So that may be why they want to put a belt on, or the patient's not safe and they're going to get out, get up from the chair, and decrease the risk for fall. It's like a fall prevention.
Is there a limit on that whole strapping thing them to the wheelchair? Because I would think if you
The
strap them in
state
for too long-
says,
Yeah.
the state says that the patient has to be able to release the lock if you're gonna put a belt on it. Sometimes when you get a patient and they've never been in a wheelchair, it's okay to ask the occupational therapist to write a goal for wheelchair propulsion, because really we're out to help them become independent, right? So if they need a ride to lunch every day, isn't that really putting them in a dependent position if they need a ride? So you can have the patient, the occupational therapist write a goal, especially someone who's pretty low level, and they, you know, like they can't use their whole one side. Ask them to write a wheelchair propulsion goal. So then you would educate the patient on how to maneuver the chair. You can break that down into part of your treatment time. And it's really better to start like on a tiled surface, heading straight down, you know. Then you can move on to different surface levels, like carpeting. You can do like an object course with them, have them go around cones, make a turn within, you know, so many feet. You know, things like that. You can be creative with, you know, however you want to do it. Okay. Then, I may have said this already, but you can rent, a lot of times if it's a temporary thing, like if there's a motor vehicle accident, or a fall, you can rent a wheelchair for a short period of time. Like my sister and I, my sister broke her foot and she was non-weight bearing on it, and we had a trip planned to go to New York City to a concert, and I rented a wheelchair for her for the weekend. It was $20 for the weekend. So for us, it was well worth $20, you know, for her. Frame style, there's different types of frames here. One thing that I did notice when you were doing your lab last week was when you came in, I could feel the heat coming off of these chairs. I don't know if anyone.
It was blazing hot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and you know how cold it is in here. So when you all were coming in,
I was sweating.
I could literally feel the heat radiate, because these are all, the frames are basically metal. You know, so it's gonna hold the heat. So your person is gonna get hot when they're outdoors. So there's different types of frames. Someone who is a bariatric patient, who weighs more than like 350, there's a frame, it's called a heavy duty frame. Now this one, this has a small crossbar. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but I'll look at it at another time. With a heavy duty frame, usually there's a double crossbar back here to help support the weight.
Are you reading that off of 244 or?
Yeah, that's where I'm at. So now I'm going into manual versus electric power chairs. When you're determining a manual, Does the user have sufficient strength and endurance? I talked about that already. The manual mobility and enhanced functional independence and cardiovascular conditioning of the wheelchair user. It's very important to keep in mind about the cardiovascular, because if they're moving around, they're going to be pumping their heart, right? If someone has an ejection fraction of 15%, you're not going to want them to, you know, be propelling a whole lot. Maybe short distances would be fine, but not a whole lot. And especially you don't want them using the upper body, because when you're using the upper body, your heart's here. When you're using the lower body, it doesn't pump the heart as much, as quickly.